Welcome to the Last Minute Show. It's been a while since I was able to make a live program, so I'm very excited this month. I don't know where to start. Okay, so this month's agenda is actually a tribute album that Music for Non-Musicians and 4NM, a independent music label, has released in April. I'm also working in conjunct with Music for Non-Musicians people. They're geared towards creating more left field hip hop, but also different understandings and forms of electronic music, IDM, ambient, and other subgenres of the field. So every now and then they release tribute albums with the participation of all of the artists in the label, and they featured Erkin Koray previously. And some of you maybe have heard Erkin Koray because he is one of those important figures for Anadolu rock or Turkish rock, psychedelic Turkish rock. And he has been, so to speak, rediscovered by the West recently, and his music has been edited, remade, used in many set lists. So they made their own tribute album. So I think they have another tribute album, but now I'm blanking on it. But Ahmet Kaya is another one. And this features 13 artists, 12 tracks altogether. And I think it's important to give a little bit information about Ahmet Kaya. Ahmet Kaya was born in 1957, and he's Kurdish, Kurd of the Turkey, and he has started playing saz at a very early age, at the age of starting from 6. And in fact, he has always seen himself as a musician, saz player, instead of a vocalist. I've seen this in an interview that he gave. Although he's, very well known for his compositions, but also his singing and the lyrics. His poems are truly unique, and they cut across many layers of life, and especially political life. But it incorporates a politics that's very, human oriented, and starts from a more cordial point rather than an ideological point. And you can see that his ideas are always very humanist, and he wants to, through his art, he wants to really create and devote himself to freedom of ideas and freedom of peoples. And he has been very prolifically producing. He has more than 20 albums, and you can see musical variations in them. He moved across in a way, styles and instrumentations, and almost genres, I would say. So he has a very successful career in that sense, but his Kurdish identity really troubled many others. Although, when you see an ultra nationalist person, he or she can even say that, I love Ahmet Kaya, even though he is Kurdish. That even though is very strange. There was this award ceremony that he attended. He was awarded by this magazine journalists union or something, and he announced that he recorded a Kurdish song, and he's going to shoot a video clip for that. And this was in 1999 or 1998. I need to check. And back then, speaking in Kurdish, let alone singing in Kurdish, was banned, and also socially it was ostracized still. There was this huge hatred in society against anything Kurdish, and this was, of course, instigated by the military and by the ruling elite, in a way, and ruling mafia. Actually, they weren't even elites back then necessarily. And he had so that award ceremony ended in a weird fight and brawl. They protested Ahmet Kaya, and people started singing this ultra nationalist song, and threw their forks and cutlets to Ahmet Kaya, and that was a very shameful moment in cultural history, I think. He had then some lawsuits, law cases opened against him, also with the claim that he has a picture in front of PKK's flag, and he allegedly said, "We miss Apo, the leader of PKK." So he had to flee to Paris after all of these things, and a year later he died there from a heart attack at the age of 43. So in a way, his country literally broke his heart. It's just, there's no other explanation for such an untimely death. And he was really productive. He had so many other songs to sing, so many poems to write. And the life and death of Ahmet Kaya tells a lot about Turkey's recent history in that sense. A couple of years ago, his name is cleared, so to speak, when the now President Erdogan acknowledged his artistic value and superficially chastised people for ostracizing this artist. Back then, the government was having negotiations with Kurdish guerrilla PKK, and they were talking about peace, and they had a ceasefire. But no sooner than these words, right, as we see right now, the country is back to war with Kurds. And everything that I have been telling you in and out in these programs, like the curfews, the military operations, they're still ongoing. And what's more, right now they passed this law about lifting the parliament members' immunity, which will mean that all of the Kurdish politicians that had the very unjust lawsuits against them, all of them will be tried, and probably all of them will be charged, and their parliamentary membership will be dropped. So they will literally be robbed of their representative positions, and the parliament will conduct this coup to this party's presence, which represents 10 to 12% of population, and actually speaks for even more, because the Kurdish words are bigger than them in a way. So this tribute album coincided with a very interesting time. It's a time when Kurds are once again are the target of violence and hatred. When my friends released a trailer of the tribute album on YouTube, there were lots of hate-filled comments directly at Kurds, indirectly at Ahmet Kaya. So it is mortifying to see that we don't necessarily develop, or we don't necessarily leave things behind and move on. We don't necessarily learn how to make peace. All of those negotiations of a couple of years ago, they were for nothing on the social level. They didn't mean anything, because on the ideological level and the governmental force, it's very clear that everything is a tactic. So there's no societal change, social justice that they wanted to establish. And this is really, truly disappointing, to say the least. And it's hurting, it's affecting all of us. We are all getting every day more and more sick, and we don't know how to respond. Our representatives, our ministers, they are being kept, they're being held out. Their right to represent is robbed. In a way, our right to be represented, our right to be heard in the parliament is taken away. So right now, a big part of the country is in living in a curfew, in a way. Some of them in actual curfew, and some of them are living in political curfew, in political exception. And everything is going on the surface, as if nothing has changed, nothing is wrong. The TVs are showing the same shit. People are going to the same places, people are going to their work. They're struggling, they're trying to hang on. No one is to blame in that sense. But I don't know what will save us from this stasis, a very bad stasis. However, Despair is not the only thing that we should find ourselves in, I guess. Rage can be useful, I suppose. And I have to believe that what we are doing, particularly music, performance, those things should matter. It heals us somehow, and hopefully it heals others as well. So, without further ado, I would like to play you Ahmet Kaya tribute, which is they shortened it with the acronym ATTAK. It sounds like attack, and it is an attack. I hope you enjoy. So, see you next month.
Ben ceketimi daima yağmurlara atacağım. Bir gün birileri nasılsa Kürt asıllı olduğu için Kürtçe bir tek şarkı söylemek isteyen bir adamın hiçbir ülkeyi bölmediğinin öyküsünü yazacak ve bu öyküyü okuyanlar şarkı söyleyen insanlardan ve şarkılardan korkulmaması gerektiğini anlayacaklardır.
Gece yarısı bir yine geçip duruyor.
Yaşasın sigara. Günde 4 pakete çıkarttım. Ne olacaksa olsun anasını satayım.
hayat, hayat, özümüz, hayat, hayat.
hoşça kal yaban çiçeğim. Yasal mermisiyle bir komiser yaklaşmakta.
Ve kent ince ince susar.
kardeşler, ayrı gider oldum kardeşler. Ve de kız kardeşler, ayrı gider oldum kardeşler. Ve de kız kardeşler, ayrı gider oldum kardeşler. ve de kız kardeşler.
Yaz da olsa kış da olsa fark etmez, ben geceleri çok üşüyorum. Sorun kalorifer sorunu değil. Sorun yorgansız oluşum sorunu da değil. Beni üşüten tek bir şey var. Ben vatansızlıktan üşüyorum.
Sinan. Geldik sana. Son şarkını. Turan emeksiz.
Yürüyüş eylediler sabahtan, ılgıt ılgıt kan gidiyor loy loy. Bir yürüyüş eylediler sabahtan, ılgıt ılgıt kan gidiyor loy loy. Dayan dizlerim dayan, ağla gözlerim ağla, namlu kuş doğmuş, at ayağı puşt. Dayan dizlerim dayan, ağla gözlerim ağla, namlu kuş doğmuş, at ayağı puşt.